Hey everyone, so it's Movie Lover 120 here, and last night I went and I saw the New Mutants. And now this was very notorious because it was supposed to come out 2 years ago in April 2018, but we all know it had such a troubled production, it kept getting delayed over and over again that people just stopped caring about it. But now, since I think they saw that no one really cared about this film anymore, and since the pandemic, a lot of people weren't going to go to theaters anyway, they decided to finally release it as theaters were now reopening. And so they released it on August 28th, and it took me a few weeks, but I finally went and I saw it, and it was so good. It was the greatest X-Men film ever. It's my favorite one of all time. It was better than the Deadpool films. It was better than the next two X-Men United. It was better than Days of Future Past. It was better than Logan and everything. This is my all-time favorite X-Men film. Not! It sucked. I just don't even know just why I even bothered with this crap fest. It was an abomination. It was a blundered mess. Was it better than Dark Phoenix? Yeah, I'll give it that. It was a hair bit better to watch than that cringy disaster, and always still will be the worst X-Men film that's known as Dark Phoenix, but this was still an utterly bad film, and today I'm actually going to be reviewing it. So anyway, what is this movie even about? Well, it's about these facility prisoners, known as Magic Wolfsman, and a few other teenage mutants trying to come to grips with their superpowers while having to stay at this secret facility. Yeah. And they also then have to fight to save their lives. So pretty much, what do you expect? Well, it's basically an overhyped ending to these X-Men films, that got ultimately butchered by executive meddling on Disney's behalf because, well, the X-Men are now owned by Marvel Studios at Disney, and so they still had these films, so thanks to that, Disney, like Dark Phoenix, Disney rebotched the whole thing. Both of these, but not like we even care anymore, because at least the X-Men are now belonging at Marvel Studios. Why this movie? This movie was so bad is that because the characters were so underdeveloped and one-dimensional with no chemistry whatsoever, non-existent character developments, especially this really forced, there's even a forced, cringy lesbian relationship between two of the characters, Moonstar and Danny Moonstar and Ronnie Sinclair. They even have this really cringy kiss. Yeah, they both actually kiss in the middle of the film, and it's so cringy, I don't even want to talk about it. Even doesn't even contribute anything to develop the characters or even contributes anything to the plot. Plus they feature so many racist Native American stereotypes. And there were a lot of scenes in the trailer that aren't even in it because of, well, executive meddling. It's so unfaithful to the source material. All it is just a generic plot that centers around a bunch of cliche-tier drama that we already have seen millions and millions of times, and even featuring the so-called liar revealed trope, which of course which I also hate, much like Nostalgia Critic, because it's an overused cliche that pretty much no one even cares of anymore. Even a very wrong casting choice. So for Henry Zaga, who's this white Brazilian actor, who's with an Italian descent, plays Sunspot, who is actually Afro-Brazilian in the comics. And Alice Braga, who is also a white Brazilian, is literally played by Cecília Reis, who is actually Puerto Rican in the original comics. So anyway, it doesn't even get the casting right. And it is part of the X-Men franchise, they say that, but they don't reference any of the X-Men film characters at all, or there's even no reason for this film to even be in the franchise, because they're barely referenced to previous films. There's only like one mention of so-called the name X-Men, but there's just nothing really. Also, so much horrible editing, pasting, and CGI. So many plot holes are everywhere. There's not even any action sequences. With like just one really lackluster one with just regards to the complete lack of the main character's powers, and they barely even used her powers at all. So anyway, you're just sitting through a bore fest. And such an abysmal ending too. It basically, how this movie ends, well, spoilers guys, so I'm gonna get into spoilers. The facility is destroyed. There's this demon bear now attacking the facility. And Moonlight was unconscious, but sees her father's spirit and encouraged her to face this fear because, well, she had this fear of, well, dark, and often bears were compared to the dark in the film. So she awakens, she kills the bear, and the group then just calls themselves the New Mutants. The facility is destroyed, the force field that's protecting the facility is down, and they decide to just go out into the world. And then that's it. The end. Are there some good qualities in this film? Yeah, there are a few. Well, there's a decent soundtrack, some solid performances, like from Anya Taylor-Joy, who I like in films like The Witch and Splitting Glass and stuff, but despite the talent being wasted, there are maybe some scary moments, like there's this demonic cult with these smiley-faced masks. And the idea of making a horror film superhero elements is somewhat original, even with the executive meddling, but hopefully Doctor Strange 2 can get that right, because I heard that's somewhat going to be a horror film, so I can't wait to, hopefully they get that trope right. And plus, I would still rather take this over that abysmal crapfest from last year called Dark Phoenix, which is still the worst X-Men film. But in the end, how would I rank it? Well, of course, since this is a negative review, I'm going to rank The New Mutants 3 out of 10. For those of you that don't know, if I were Chris Stuckman, it would be enough. Or if I were a former reactor, but if I were other users, like former reactors, nah, forget that. But it would almost, nah, okay, just forget that part. If I were Jeremy Jahns, it'd be dog shit. Yeah. The good qualities I mentioned are what prevent this from getting a 0, and prevent this from being worse than Dark Phoenix, and so in the end, if you still aren't comfortable going to theaters right now to be able to watch this, well, you're not going to miss much. It's really not worth it, trust me. If you don't want to end up blowing $12 on a 2-year too late release film that just should have no reason to be made in the first place, then just skip it. But if you still do want to go see theaters, like go see like Tenets, or heck, even go see Unhinged. Heck, if you want something actually terrifying, maybe go see Unhinged. Those are probably your best bets right now. Or even go see Bill and Ted 3. Those are actually pretty good films. So, yeah, this was a 3 out of 10. And this movie gets a 3 out of 10. And it's probably will be the worst film of the rare release films we got this year in 2020. But anyway, that'll be it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.